Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. Hopefully you've all had a wonderful Wednesday so far. Today we're going to be diving into our daily cryptocurrency market update. And apologies for not making a video yesterday. I was actually on a medical emergency course, which was interesting. Nice to do something different every now and then. But we're back, and we're going to be telling you everything that you need to look at moving forwards. And in actual fact, today I think Jerome is actually speaking again. We had some really interesting data come out yesterday for the UK. We also had, we've got a lot of economic data that is really feeding into our kind of bias that, markets generally aren't going to do too well over this time period. And that's what we're going to be talking about. And really the main thing that you guys should be looking at is what Powell is saying. Powell says the Fed will not hesitate to keep raising rates until inflation comes down. We had a slightly lower CPI, the last one, I think it was 8.3. We're going to talk a little bit about why I actually think CPI is probably going to go higher next month. I watch all your commodities, and we'll look at nat gas and we'll look at WTI crude oil. Because I actually think, and I don't think, inflation is peaking is the new inflation is transitory. And the higher and the longer that inflation remains higher, the more aggressive the Fed are going to have to be deemed to be. And this is, very bad for markets. Bearing in mind they've not even started to reduce the balance sheet, which is coming next month, which takes a huge amount of liquidity out of markets. So for me, my outlook is still that markets go lower. We did say yesterday that, look, short-term rally is quite likely. We were looking at altcoins, quite a lot of setups across the board. We do actually trade daily, and I did actually put some longs on last night or towards the getting into last night. But anything that I'm trading intraday is very, very small risk, extremely tight stops. And I'm only really doing it because I enjoy it. These are very hard markets to trade, and I certainly wouldn't recommend it. You guys know that we're still looking for that big short in terms of the market going lower. And I think after a rally, I'd like Bitcoin to get up to sort of the 32, 33, 34K range. But it may not even get there. Any rallies that occur in this kind of environment, I think are going to get killed. Excuse me. So let's get into it. Markets, again, choppy, not really doing a lot. Lots of people calling for us to drop down now. I'm not sure that I think markets are sort of due a bit of a relief rally, if nothing else. However, overall, we're still looking at targets around about your sort of 24 to 22K range. We've looked at this logarithmic chart. Pinned it on our Twitter ages ago saying, look, trouble here, guys. We're likely to do what we did in 2018 or 2014. And you do always come down to the bottom bands of this. And that's what we're expecting. And you can actually go below it. But I'm at least expecting us to come down to sort of your 22K range. We've also got, we'll drop down to the 3-hourly. We'll get through the Bitcoin stuff, guys, and then we'll go over the sort of economic stuff that is all data that feeds into our narrative. We've also got your death cross. Been speaking about this for a while. Death cross happens. Typically, you've done, and you can see a little bounce here on the cross, but then you get lower. So that's what I'm expecting, a bounce and then lower. We will dive into a number of altcoins. We're not going to talk about Luna today. We could talk about Luna all day long and what they are or are not doing, but I just feel like the majority of YouTubers talking about it are just, viewer farming. They don't really care about the situation. They're still telling you to buy it, which is just like, doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But anyway, so let's keep dropping down the time frames. 4-hourly, what were we looking at? Well, we were looking at a number of things. We were essentially, we're looking at a rally here. I think we could rally. In fact, I'd like to see a higher push than where we currently are. That's something I would really like to see. Because across the board, actually, guys, you've got these kind of, we've already got it drawn on. You've got these kind of ascending triangles that are all forming. Don't put much the thing is with TA, it works, but on a short-term time frame, it's got less of a probability to me than it does on a bigger term time frame. Bitcoin's got head and shoulders patterns that take us down to your sort of lower 20Ks and everything. For me, it's going there, but I'd like to see a little bit more strength. And actually, we'll see how the FTSE opened this morning. FTSE opened down this morning. We'll switch back to the daily. Slightly down this morning. The S&P futures slightly down this morning. Nasdaq Composite hasn't actually opened yet. Let's take a look at gold. Gold, not really doing a lot. It's not been doing a lot at all. Even gold's going down in this environment, which just tells you how bad of an environment it is. When everything's selling off, it's kind of a stagflationary environment that we're in, and it's really caused by the Fed and what they're doing, and of course high inflation that I don't think will peak for a while. And I think when the realization that happens and the Fed and people go, okay, well, what markets are looking for is the Fed. They're looking for no news, no change to the plan. They'll take that as good news. And they're also looking for the Fed to pivot. That's what I'm actually looking for in order to regain a bullish bias. But I think it comes lower. I think right now the Fed is very much set on the course that they're on. They're not going to deviate. And I think the course that they're on is going to lead to them breaking something. I think that's very probable. If you look at 2018, what happened? March 2020 was actually almost a signaled event. People could have probably predicted that something like that was going to take place. And you'll go, well, how? Well, you had the yield curve, you had the repo market beforehand. This is all real economic stuff that I don't want to go into too much detail about. But the economy will give you signals when things aren't going to go too well. And I think we're in one of them periods, certainly given what the Fed's doing. And unfortunately, the cryptocurrency market and its price is just very much going to get swept up in all of that. It's a very small industry competing with, huge industries. We're looking. I can still see a rally forming here. We do have some longs on, but they've got very tight stops. I think for me, my long was entered here, and I think the stop is here. And that's just, we're only putting these on not because they're high probability, just because we really enjoy trading. But you've got a number of patterns across the board that may see upside continuation, also may see a spill to the downside. But we're looking at a number of altcoins that we want to short. But yeah, let's get into some of the comments. One thing that I want to do once we've gone over these is look at natural gas and oil, which I seem to have drawn all over. I'm not sure what that was about. Anyway, we can cross that bridge when we come to it. Powell says the Fed will not hesitate to keep raising rates until inflation comes down. Fed Chairman Powell said he will back interest rate increases until prices start falling back towards a healthy level. If that involves moving past broadly understood levels of neutral, we won't hesitate to do so, the central bank leader told the Wall Street Journal. UK inflation jumps to a 40-year high of 9% as food and energy prices spiral. I'm not going to lie, guys. Even I'm feeling very fortunate in the position I'm in because it's prices have gone up, but it's still very affordable for me. But they've gone up significantly. Even things like insurance. I think many people are finding that their actual car insurance, which typically goes down every year if there's no changes to it and you keep getting a year's no claims, has actually gone up. Everything is going up. Energy bills are crippling people to the point where they just can't pay them. And this is, it's really, it's not a good state of affairs, and I don't see how a recession is avoidable. And how does crypto hold up in a recession when no one's got money? Well, it's still a very speculative market. Not amazingly, I don't think. Japan's GDP shrinks as surging costs raise spectre of deeper downturn. Japan and the yen are just like, how did that even come about? Who let that get that bad? Probably the West. But yeah, the Japan is very much a mirror, I think, of potentially what could be happening with the likes of the United States and the UK. Huge differences, but in the sense that, things are downturning, interest rates are going up, it's killing off demand, whilst high inflation is stagflationary and not good for anybody or any markets, I don't think, except for some, which of course would be a commodity market. So we had the retail data for sales yesterday. Apologies about this ad popping up, by the way, guys. It's on Reuters. Strong US retail sales, manufacturing output boosts economic outlook. So this, of course, is we had this data yesterday looking at retail sales. This is strong. This is, again, going to give the Fed the kind of green light that they need to go ahead and continue to up interest rates. If they think the economy is strong and can handle it, then they'll go ahead and do it. And this is what we're really looking at. We'll get rid of this, guys. When we look at oil, we had a lower CPI number marginally, but what then happens if oil starts to climb again? Natural gas, similar setup. In fact, it's already coming up to new all-time highs. And this is what people need to pay attention to, because the Fed aren't going to, whilst inflation, Jerome is telling you this, and it's one of those times where you should actually listen to the Fed. He's telling you that he's not going to stop his sort of war campaign on interest rates and you know, the Fed fund rate until inflation has come down. Well, I don't see inflation coming down, is the truth, because it's you've got supply chain issues. You've still got a huge. It's just a mess that has actually, you know, in my opinion, largely been quite artificially manufactured by the Fed. And people go, oh, well, this is the cryptocurrency market. Why on earth are you talking about other markets? Well, this is what crypto is currently doing is not a crypto problem. It's a economic problem. And the Fed has artificially caused all of this. March 2020 is so significant because the Fed will tell you in their own words, they essentially flooded the system with money. There's a video of Jerome Powell saying that. All markets appreciated. We're now at the other end of that, and we've got high inflation. You know, they've been extremely accommodating, extremely regressive, and that's really all there is to it. And that's what we need to watch as crypto investors, and we need to play, you know, come up with a strategy accordingly. So that's really all I've got for you in this video, guys. Hopefully this has helped you make a little bit of an understanding on these things. I can still see a little bit of a rally, although I don't trust any rally that we get. Like I say, the only reason that I'm even putting short-term trend-based longs and range-to-range longs and range-to-range shorts on at the moment. These aren't big positions, by the way. These are me just liking trading and just, you know, going back to the very basics of being a trader and just trading ranges, trading trends, and that sort of stuff with very tight risk management. These aren't big trades. The big trade for me coming up, and I'll keep you guys informed absolutely, is if we get back into, and the sniper spoke about this accumulation zone here for, if we get back into these kind of levels, then we're shorting, providing that nothing drastic changes on the economic level, we're shorting for that next down leg to, you know, 22, 23, 24K. And we're going to be shorting altcoins significantly more aggressively. But that's all I've got for you in this video, guys. If you've enjoyed the content, likes always appreciated, so as a comment, and I'll catch you all in the next YouTube video. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Enjoy your Wednesday.